Yes, welcome back. The next thing we want to look at after understanding the benefits or importance of knowing the elasticity of demand of your product, the next thing we want to look at is cross elasticity of demand. This is also very important. We've talked about point elasticity, we've talked about arc elasticity. It's very important to know cross elasticity of demand. The quantity demanded of a particular commodity varies according to the price of other commodities. No commodity is in isolation in this world. A commodity might have substitutes, that means other commodities that can be used in place of it. For instance, Milo. Milo is not a unique commodity. There are some other commodities that can be used in place of Milo, like Bonvita, like All Time, other cocoa drinks that can now, we even have this way, we have cowbell coffee and all that. They can also be used in place of Milo. Yes. So the price of the other commodities are also very important. So cross elasticity measures the responsiveness of the quantity demanded of a commodity to changes in the price of another commodity. I believe you are not getting it clearly, but let me explain with a practical example. Now, let's say a sachet of Milo is 1 Ghana cedi, and this way is also 1 Ghana cedi. This way chocolate drink is also 1 Ghana cedi. You might be confused as to which one to buy, but maybe your preference is Milo, so you've been buying Milo. All of a sudden, you hear that the price of this way has reduced from 1 Ghana cedi to 10 pesos. Would you still be buying Milo? The quantity of this way has not changed, but the price has changed. Because the price of this way has changed, you think it's less expensive to buy this way, so you stop buying Milo and then you'll be buying this way. What has happened is the price of this way, which is a substitute of Milo, has changed, but the price of Milo itself has not changed. And the price of the substitute changing has resulted in a change in the demand for the commodity in question, which is Milo. That is cross elasticity of demand, the responsiveness of the quantity demanded of a commodity to changes in the price of another commodity or of the price of a related commodity. Another example is commodities that are used together, like torchlight and battery. You cannot on your torchlight unless you have placed in a battery. But now, if the price of torchlight is the same, but price of battery increases, that means that for you to be able to use your torchlight, you need to always get a battery, and the battery is now expensive. People will decide not to use torchlights again, though the price of torchlight has not increased, but the price of battery has increased. So they will decide to use maybe other means of illumination, like lantern, we decide to even buy a bulb, a rechargeable lamp, or something. Now, the price of torchlight, which is the commodity in question, has not changed, but because the price of the complement has changed, it has affected the quantity demanded of the commodity in question. That is cross elasticity. So, point elasticity is analogous to the point cross elasticity is analogous to the point elasticity we talked about. But to note, cross price elasticity for substitutes, anytime we calculate it, we will get a positive figure. So anytime you calculate cross price elasticity of demand, and you are not even told whether the commodity is a substitute or a complement, but you get a positive answer, then it tells you that the commodity is a substitute or is a competitive good. The second is that if you calculate and you get a negative answer, it means that the commodity is a complement to the commodity in question. Right, so this is the formula for point cross elasticity of demand. It's basically like the same we did, but this time around, if you do remember very well, we are talking about two different goods, a good in question and its related commodity, whether a substitute or a complement. So it is change in quantity demanded of X divided by the change in the price of Y, that is a related commodity, times change in the price of Y can ignore this one, divided by change in so it's let me just move over again. So point cross elasticity of demand is change in the quantity demanded of X divided by change in the price of Y times the price of Y divided by, so the reason for this Y1 is the one is indicating that we are talking about the original price. So if you care, you can consider this also QX1 divided by QX1. That is the quantity demanded of the original commodity X. Right. So this is a formula. We'll take an example for you to have it clearly. Okay, question 5. Assuming that commodities X and Y are brown sugar and white sugar respectively. When the price of brown sugar was 10 Ghana cedis, that of white sugar was 8 Ghana cedis, and their quantities demanded was 20 units and 25 units respectively. When the price of white sugar increased from 8 Ghana cedis to 12 Ghana cedis, quantity demanded for brown sugar increased from 20 to 40 units. Now, calculate the cross elasticity of demand for the two goods. So in this scenario, we are talking about brown sugar and white sugar. They are substitutes. If you are unable to tell, the final answer will tell what it is. So the first thing is to note all the information given, summarize them. So this is our solution. First, we will state the formula, then we will put all the information given together. So the initial quantity demanded of X is 20, and the quantity demanded increased to 40. The initial price of Y is 8, and the price increased to 12. If you should note very well, we didn't talk about the price change of X, all because cross price elasticity talks about the price change of the other commodity, what the result will be on the quantity demanded. So the price change of the other commodity results in a change in the quantity demanded of the commodity in question. So we put in our figures. So the change in QX is 40, that is QX2 minus QX1, 40 minus 20, all divided by the change in PY is PY2 minus PY1, which is 12 minus 8, then times the original PY, that's the original price of Y, which is PY1, is 8 Ghana cedis, divided by QX1, which is the original quantity demanded of X, 20. Our final answer is 2. It is positive 2 actually. So the point cross elasticity, let's go back to the question. The question says calculate the cross elasticity of demand for the two goods. The second is interpret the coefficients of elasticity. So now to the interpretation, the point cross elasticity coefficient of 2 shows that demand is fairly elastic because it's greater than 1. Right, and the last is what is the nature of the commodities? The commodities are substitutes since the coefficient is positive. I believe it's clear. Right, the last thing we want to talk about is arc cross elasticity. As we talked about arc elasticity of demand, this is also the same thing, only that this, because it's cross elasticity, it talks about the change in quantity demanded of the commodity in question as a result of change in price of a related commodity. So this is a formula, change in QX divided by QX1 plus QX2, all divided by change in PY divided by PY1 plus PY2. Right. So the next thing we want to look at is what are the uses of cross elasticity of demand? Why is it important? The first is it is useful in defining industrial boundaries. If you are a company and you want to produce a variety of commodities, you should be able to know the cross elasticity of demand of those commodities. If the cross elasticity of demand of two commodities is elastic. That means if the price of one commodity changes, the price of the other commodity, the quantity demanded of the other commodity will change very significantly. So it helps you to know which commodities to produce and how to price them. And even for companies in a particular industry, if you are operating in an industry, let's say the chocolate industry, where there are different companies that produce chocolate. If you know the elasticity between your chocolate and the other chocolate, it will help you to know the price to charge at every point in time. Because if you lower your price, it will affect the other company. It will help you to also know how to brand, whether to keep on producing this particular commodity or to produce some other commodity, because you cannot stand the competition. So basically, in summary, it helps you to define your industrial boundaries, which industry to enter, what to produce, how to produce, and even how to price. The second is it guides government tax policy. As we explained in the first lesson, for government to impose a tax on a particular commodity, it has to know the price elasticity, and it has to also as well know the cross price elasticity. So some commodities are used together with other commodities. So if you impose a tax on a particular commodity and it increases the price of the commodity, maybe that commodity is a complement to another. So it might reduce the demand of another commodity that is normally used. And that one might also affect the welfare of people. Probably if even the other commodity, there is tax placed on it, it will affect the tax revenue the government should receive. And the last one is it guides the seller in pricing policy. Some sellers normally engage in something called price war. A price war is a strategy normally used. For instance, if you are producing a substitute of a commodity, you may want to reduce your price because you know that the moment you reduce your price, the consumers of that particular commodity will shift to you. So you reduce your price and the demand for your commodity increases. So knowing the elasticity, if the substitute in question is very elastic, then you reduce your price for people to buy more of your commodity. But if it is inelastic and you reduce your price, to your surprise, people might not be buying your commodity because it is inelastic. Right. So these are the uses of cross elasticity of demand. Let's pause here and continue in the next slide.